Hello, all. I am just sitting here working on my Heineken keg, which I don't know. It's not that great. It kind of tastes like metal. To be honest, I don't think I'll ever get a Heineken keg again. It's cheaper in the 12 pack. Um, that's completely irrelevant, but I thought I'd say that. So, oh, everything's backwards on camera. I forgot. I got this lately, and it's the Burning Bush. I'm trying to get perspective here. And it's basically, it means something to me because I've been considering going back to school, and I was never good at school. I was always a horrible failure in school. I'm not good at many things, and so it kind of made me think. You know, if I'm going to follow God's direction, um, and try to find out what He wants me to do, I'm gonna have to overlook my fears. And I started thinking, well, what does God think about this? And then it reminded me, there wasn't like some cloud opened up in the sky and God turned my Bible to Exodus, whatever. But I was thinking about this for a long time, and I think I was watching Prince of Egypt when I remembered when Moses was in front of the burning bush and he's talking to God, and God says, I have heard my people's suffering in Egypt, and I've grown concerned. So I will send you to free the Egyptians, and that Egypt will see my power. And Moses says to Jesus, I'm slow of speech and tongue. I can't do this. And to be fair, he was encountering Pharaoh, one of the most feared people in the world at the time, and he had the power to kill people. And God basically says, he says, who made man's mouth? Who made the deaf, the mute, the seeing, or the blind? Did not I? Now go, and I will tell you what to say. And then Moses ends up going to Egypt, and there was all these miracles that God did through him. He turned his staff into a cobra. He, they of course parted the Red Sea. This is when they were on the run from the Egyptians. All the plagues that he did because God was so persistent to free the slaves. But it was only because Moses willingly followed God and trusted him. There's so many people out there that call themselves Christians, but only are willing to give God the room that they feel they're comfortable giving him. Like they only think that God can exist within the confines of their own personal, security bubble, if that makes any sense. I think that limits God if you don't have faith that he can do great things. And with all this said, I am a complete hypocrite. I have an extremely hard time believing that God can use me or anybody else. So I'm totally not looking down on people or pointing the finger here. This is something I'm trying to work out. But anyway, I have to think, if Moses was protected his whole life, if he had a purpose from God, from a baby, saved from the Nile, which is full of all kinds of horrible, wild animals that would definitely eat a baby in a heartbeat, not to mention it's a dangerous river, it's got strong currents. So from a baby, he was rescued out of all the babies being murdered. He was one of the few that was saved, raised up in a very powerful man's household, Pharaoh's household, so he was able to get in there and somewhat gain their trust, because an ordinary man could not walk up and confront Pharaoh, especially saying the things that he did. That was one of the things that kept him alive, because God guided him into this position from a very young age, and just every step of his life was leading up to this moment in Egypt that God led him through once again. And I don't know. It's up to you to decide. Are you going to, look at your life in that perspective? Or are you going to look at your life as something that God can use and create miracles with? And I'm not saying necessarily you're going to raise the dead or anything. I mean, I think we should just keep an open mind to what God will do. Too many people chase miracles and miss the whole point of what God may want to do with them. But that's a whole different rabbit trail. Anyway, like I'm not a teacher or a preacher in any way, shape, or form, but I know that it's a trust thing. If you think that God can't, if you don't believe that God can use you, because it has nothing to do with you. If you're living a life for your own gain, you're never gonna, live a life fully in God's accomplishments. So, anyway, I really don't know where I'm going with this, except for I know in my life I gotta trust God to get me through school for His glory. And luckily, and not luckily, I don't really know where to go with my life, so I'm kind of just going with God on this. And so it's like, on one hand, I don't have anything to fight God over. I don't really have any great passions to say, oh, I really, really want to do this. I'm interested in taking music or whatever, seeing what can happen there. I have no idea what I should do, so I have an open mind, which is the bright side. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Sorry that this is such a horrible video. I'm so bad at doing videos. Anyway, that's all I have for now.